Hello, my friends. Have you ever walked away from a conversation feeling completely exhausted, like someone just drained the life right out of you? That's the effect energy drainers have. They are the people who always bring problems but never solutions. They are the ones who call you, text you, or show up at your door with a list of complaints, grievances, and negativity, never once asking how you are or what's going on in your life. At first, you might feel obligated to listen, to be the kind, supportive person you've always been. But over time, their constant negativity starts to take a toll on your well being. You find yourself dreading their calls, avoiding their presence, and feeling emotionally exhausted every time you interact with them. It's not that you don't care, it's that you simply don't have the energy to carry their weight anymore. As you age, your emotional and mental energy become even more valuable. You have spent decades giving, helping, and supporting others. But there comes a time when you have to ask yourself, who is pouring back into me? Who is adding joy, peace, and encouragement to my life? If the answer is not them, then you have to make a choice. Holding on to people who only take from you is like trying to carry a heavy suitcase with a broken handle. It's uncomfortable, it slows you down, and eventually it wears you out. You have every right to put that baggage down. You have every right to step back from people who leave you feeling drained instead of fulfilled. The most dangerous thing about energy drainers is that they disguise themselves as people who need you. They make you feel like you're the only one who understands them, like you're the only one they can talk to. But ask yourself this: do they ever ask how you're doing? Do they ever offer you comfort when you need it? Or is the relationship completely one-sided? Relationships, whether with family, friends, or acquaintances, should be reciprocal. There should be a balance between giving and receiving, between supporting and being supported. If you find yourself always on the giving end, constantly absorbing someone else's negativity while receiving nothing in return, then it's time to reconsider that relationship. Many people struggle with the guilt of stepping away from energy drainers, especially when they are family. We are conditioned to believe that we have to tolerate certain relationships because of blood ties or history. But let's be clear, just because someone is family doesn't mean they have the right to drain your spirit. Just because you've known someone for years doesn't mean they deserve unlimited access to your energy. Protecting your peace is not an act of selfishness. It is an act of self-respect. You have worked too hard in life, survived too many struggles, and overcome too much just to spend your later years carrying someone else's emotional burden. So what do? You set boundaries. You decide how much time and energy you are willing to give. You stop answering every call. You stop allowing their negativity to dictate your mood. And if necessary, you step away completely. It's not about being cruel or uncaring. It's about choosing your well-being over constant emotional exhaustion. The truth is, people will treat you however you allow them to. If you keep letting someone dump their negativity onto you, they will keep doing it. But the moment you make it clear that your peace is your priority, you will see a shift. Some people will respect your boundaries while others will accuse you of changing. And that's okay, because change is exactly what you need. In this phase of your life, you deserve to be surrounded by people who uplift you, who bring light into your days, who make you feel seen, heard, and valued. You deserve relationships that feel easy, that make you smile, that leave you feeling energized instead of depleted. So let this be your reminder. You do not have to be the emotional dumping ground for anyone. Not anymore, not ever. Choose your peace. Choose yourself. And let the energy drainers go. Have you ever had someone make you feel guilty for simply prioritizing yourself? The guilt trippers are masters at manipulation. They don't ask for your time, energy, or help. They demand it. And when you hesitate or say no, they hit you with guilt. After everything I've done for you? Oh, so you're too busy for me now? I guess I just don't matter to you anymore. These words are designed to make you feel like you are a bad person for setting boundaries, for having your own needs, for choosing yourself even once. And for years, maybe even decades, you've fallen for it. You've dropped everything to be there for them. You've put their feelings above your own. But let's be honest. Has it ever been enough? No. Because guilt trippers don't want balance. They want control. They want to keep you in a cycle where you constantly feel indebted to them, where you believe that saying no makes you ungrateful, selfish, or unkind. The hardest part about guilt trippers is that many of them are people you love deeply, family members, close friends, even your own children. And that makes it even more difficult to recognize their manipulation for what it is. You tell yourself, they don't mean any harm, they just need me. But needing someone and using someone are two different things. Real love doesn't operate through guilt. Real love respects boundaries, appreciates effort, and values mutual care. But guilt trippers, they only reach out when they need something. They remind you of past favors so you feel obligated to give more. They make you feel like you are failing them when all you're doing is choosing yourself for once. But ask yourself this: when was the last time they showed up for you the way you always show up for them? When was the last time they made you feel seen, supported, or cared for? If the answer is rarely or never, then it's time to open your eyes. One of the most dangerous things about guilt trippers is that they make you second guess your own decisions. You start wondering, am I being selfish? Am I really a bad person for saying no? But here's what you need to remember. Self-care is not selfish. Prioritizing your mental and emotional well-being is not a betrayal of anyone else. It's a necessary act of self-respect. You are not responsible for constantly fixing other people's problems, especially when they make no effort to fix them themselves. You are not obligated to be at someone's beck and call just because they make you feel guilty for having your own life. The truth is, people who love you should want you to be happy, not exhausted. They should support your boundaries, not guilt you into breaking them. Many people struggle with stepping away from guilt trippers because of history. But they raised me. But we've been friends for so long. But they've done so much for me in the past. Gratitude and obligation are two very different things. You can be grateful for what someone has done for you and still recognize when they are manipulating you. You can love someone and still set limits on how much access they have to your time, energy, and emotions. A healthy relationship is built on mutual respect, not one person constantly taking while the other feels drained. If someone truly cares about you, they will understand your boundaries. If they only care about what they can get from you, they will make you feel guilty for having them. So how do you deal with guilt trippers? You stand firm in your boundaries. You stop explaining yourself to people who are committed to misunderstanding you. You remind yourself that their disappointment is not your responsibility. You practice saying no without guilt, and you let go of the belief that you owe anyone your peace. It won't be easy at first. They will push back. They will try harder to make you feel bad. They will say things that hurt. But in time, you will realize something powerful. When you stop letting guilt control you, you take your power back. And there is nothing more freeing than that. At this stage in your life, you deserve to live with peace, joy, and emotional freedom. You deserve relationships that feel warm and uplifting, not ones that make you feel burdened and obligated. And most importantly, you deserve to choose yourself without feeling guilty for it. So let this be your reminder. You don't owe anyone an explanation for protecting your well-being. The only thing you owe yourself is peace. And that starts with walking away from the guilt trippers without looking back. We all know them, the people who think the world revolves around them. Conversations with them are never truly conversations. They are monologues disguised as dialogue. They talk about their problems, their successes, their dreams, their frustrations. And when you try to share something about yourself, they barely listen. They nod absent-mindedly, waiting for their turn to speak again. Or worse, they completely dismiss what you're saying and redirect the conversation back to themselves. The self-absorbed are not necessarily bad people. They just lack the emotional maturity to genuinely care about others. For years, you may have tolerated their behavior because you believed that if you kept showing up for them, they would one day do the same for you. But let's be honest, has that day ever come? Probably not. Because for them, you are not a person with your own needs, emotions, and experiences. You are an audience, a listener, a background character in their story. The problem with keeping self-absorbed people in your life is that relationships are supposed to be mutual. They are supposed to be a balance of giving and receiving, of listening and being heard. But when you are in a relationship, whether it's a friendship, a family connection, or even a romantic partnership with someone who only takes, you end up feeling invisible. You start questioning your own worth. Why don't they ask about me? Why don't they care about what I'm going through? But the truth is, it's not about you, it's about them. They are so consumed with their own world that they don't have the emotional space to truly see anyone else. And that realization is painful. It makes you feel like all the years of investment, support, and love you gave to them were one-sided. But the sooner you accept that, the sooner you can release yourself from the disappointment of expecting something they will never give. One of the biggest dangers of self-absorbed people is that they take without even realizing they're doing it. They take your time, your energy, your emotional space, and they never stop to consider that you might need something in return. They assume you'll always be there, ready to listen, ready to cheer them on, ready to provide comfort when they need it. And if you ever pull back, even just a little, they make you feel like you are the bad person. They accuse you of being distant. They act offended, as if your only role in life is to serve as their emotional support system. But here's what you need to know. You do not exist to be a spectator in someone else's life. You do not exist to constantly pour into people who never pour back into you. At this stage in your life, you deserve real connections, ones that feel like a two-way street, not a dead-end road. Many people struggle with setting boundaries with self-absorbed individuals, especially if they have been in their life for years. Maybe it's an old friend, a longtime coworker, or even a sibling. You tell yourself, that's just how they are. They don't mean any harm, but at what cost? How much longer are you willing to accept being invisible in a relationship? How much longer will you tolerate feeling unheard, unvalued, and emotionally exhausted? You have spent your whole life taking care of others, being there for people, showing up when they needed you. But now it's time to ask, who is showing up for you? And if the answer is not them, then it's time to rethink why they still have a place in your life. So what do? You set new rules for how you engage with them. You stop being their go-to person for every crisis. You stop overextending yourself just to make them feel seen when they refuse to do the same for you. You test the relationship, step back, even just a little, and see what happens. Do they reach out to check on you? Do they notice your absence? Do they make an effort to reciprocate the care you have given them for years? If the answer is no, then you have your answer. And it's a hard truth to face, but it's a necessary one. Because at this stage in your life, you cannot afford to waste your energy on relationships that make you feel like a supporting character in someone else's story. You deserve to be seen. You deserve to be heard. You deserve relationships that make you feel valued, respected, and cared for. So let this be your reminder. You do not have to keep people in your life just because of history. If they have never made space for you, then you have every right to stop making space for them. The self-absorbed will always find an audience, but you deserve people who see you, who appreciate you, who truly care. And from this moment forward, those are the only relationships you should be investing in. There are people in this world who thrive on chaos. They are not comfortable unless there is conflict, tension, or some kind of emotional storm brewing around them. And if there isn't one, naturally, they will create it. These are the drama creators, the ones who always seem to be at the center of gossip, misunderstandings, and unnecessary disputes. You know the type. They call you not to check on you, not to offer support, but to stir the pot. Did you hear what she said about you? I wouldn't trust him if I were you. I just think you should know what's going on behind your back. These people present themselves as concerned, as if they are just looking out for you, but in reality, they feed off of discord. They want to pull you into the chaos they create to keep you engaged in their cycle of negativity. But here's what you need to ask yourself. What does it cost you? How much of your peace, energy, and emotional well-being do you sacrifice just by keeping them in your life? The most dangerous thing about drama creators is that they disguise their toxicity as concern. They act like they are just keeping you informed, like they are simply sharing news. But if you pay attention, you will notice a pattern. These conversations rarely bring anything positive into your life. They don't uplift you. They don't inspire growth. Instead, they leave you feeling unsettled, anxious, or even angry. And the worst part? You probably didn't even ask to be involved. Drama creators don't care if you were at peace before they called. They don't care if you were having a good day. They will pull you into unnecessary tension because they don't know how to function without it. And if you continue to let them, you will find yourself constantly caught in the middle of problems that were never yours to begin with. Another thing you need to understand about drama creators is that they are rarely loyal. They might act like they are confiding in you, like they trust you with sensitive information, but make no mistake, if they are gossiping to you, they are gossiping about you. These are the people who keep toxic cycles alive. They pit family members against each other. They turn friends into enemies. They create distance where there was once closeness. And for what? To entertain themselves, to feel important, to stay relevant in people's lives, even if it's through negativity. The sad truth is, drama creators are often deeply insecure. They need conflict to distract themselves from their own issues. They don't know how to exist in a space of peace, so they pull others into turmoil just to feel something. And if you are not careful, you will become their emotional dumping ground. Always caught in the middle of messes you never asked to be a part of. So what do? You start protecting your peace like your life depends on it, because in many ways it does. At this stage in your life, you cannot afford to waste your energy on people who bring you nothing but stress. You cannot keep entertaining negativity just because it comes from someone you've known for years. You owe it to yourself to create a life that is free from unnecessary conflict. And that means setting firm boundaries with drama creators. When they start gossiping, you shut it down. When they try to drag you into other people's business, you refuse to engage. When they attempt to turn you against someone else, you see it for what it is: manipulation. And most importantly, you recognize that peace is a choice. You do not have to entertain every bit of negativity that comes your way. You do not have to engage in every argument presented to you. Some things, some people are simply not worth your energy. The hardest part about distancing yourself from drama creators is that they will notice and they will try to pull you back in. They will say, you've changed. They will act like you're being cold or distant. They might even try to make you the subject of their next piece of gossip. But here's the thing, you have changed. You are no longer willing to sacrifice your peace for the sake of someone else's entertainment. You are no longer available for negativity, toxicity, and unnecessary conflict. And that is something to be proud of. Let them talk. Let them create their chaos elsewhere. Because at the end of the day, their drama is not your responsibility. Their constant need for conflict is not your burden to carry. At this stage in your life, you deserve peace. You deserve relationships that bring joy, not stress. You deserve to wake up each morning knowing that you are not entangled in someone else's chaos. And most importantly, you deserve to be surrounded by people who uplift, support, and respect you. So let this be a reminder. If someone brings nothing but drama into your life, they do not deserve access to you. Walk away without guilt, without explanation, and without looking back, because a peaceful life is waiting for you on the other side of their chaos. And that is something worth protecting. There are people in your life who will never fully celebrate you. They may pretend to support you, may offer you a kind word here and there, but deep down, they do not want to see you thrive. These are the underminers, the ones who chip away at your confidence little by little, sometimes so subtly that you don't even realize it's happening. They are the people who downplay your achievements, who question your decisions, who always seem to have a backhanded compliment ready for you. "Oh, that's great, but are you sure you can handle it? You look nice today, much better than usual. I heard about your success, but let's see if you can keep it up." These are the words that plant seeds of doubt in your mind. These are the words that make you second guess yourself, that make you hesitate when you should be standing tall in your own power. And the worst part, the people who undermine you are often the ones closest to you. Family members, lifelong friends, people you trust. Underminers do not always operate in obvious ways. They don't come out and say, "I don't believe in you." No, they are more subtle than that. They make little remarks that shake your confidence. They laugh at your dreams. They act as though your goals are unrealistic. They don't have to say you will never succeed outright. They let their tone, their smirks, their lack of enthusiasm say it for them. And because they disguise their criticism as concern or humor, it's easy to let it slide. You tell yourself they didn't mean any harm. You convince yourself that maybe they're right. Maybe you are being too ambitious. Maybe you do need to lower your expectations. This is how underminers keep you small. This is how they keep you from stepping into the fullness of your own potential. And if you're not careful, you will start believing their doubts more than you believe in yourself. One of the most painful things about underminers is that they often operate from a place of insecurity. They see your growth as a threat. They don't want you to rise too high because it forces them to confront their own limitations. They don't want you to succeed because it makes them feel like they are failing. And instead of working on themselves, instead of striving for their own personal growth, they try to keep you at their level. It is not always intentional. Sometimes they genuinely believe they are looking out for you, that they are protecting you from disappointment. But make no mistake, whether intentional or not, their words and actions hold you back. And at this stage in your life, you do not have the time, energy, or patience to shrink yourself for the comfort of others. You have spent too many years doubting yourself, questioning your worth, playing small to avoid making others uncomfortable. It is time to let that go. So how do you deal with an underminer? You start by recognizing their patterns. Pay attention to how they respond when you share good news. Do they celebrate you or do they dismiss your success? Do they encourage you or do they poke holes in your confidence? Once you see their pattern, you have a choice. You can either confront it or you can distance yourself. Confronting an underminer is not always easy. They may get defensive. They may act as if you are overreacting, but you do not have to engage in a battle with them. You do not need to prove anything to them. You simply need to remind yourself that their doubts do not define you. Their lack of belief in you is their issue, not yours. And sometimes the best way to handle an underminer is to stop giving them the opportunity to undermine you. You do not have to share your dreams with people who don't believe in you. You do not have to explain your ambitions to people who only see your limits. It is important to understand that setting boundaries with underminers does not mean you hate them. It does not mean you are being mean or unfair. It simply means you are choosing to protect your self-esteem. It means you are no longer willing to allow someone else's insecurities to dictate your future. And if that means creating distance, if that means limiting conversations, if that means keeping certain dreams to yourself, then so be it. You have worked too hard, overcome too much, and grown too far to let someone else's negativity pull you back down. This is your time to step fully into your power, to believe in yourself, even when no one else does, to trust your own voice more than the voices of those who doubt you. At this stage in life, your peace and confidence are worth more than anyone's approval. You do not need to explain yourself to people who are determined to misunderstand you. You do not need validation from those who secretly hope you fail. You are enough as you are. You are capable of everything you dream of. And if someone cannot celebrate that, if someone continues to belittle you, doubt you, or make you feel small, let them go. Let them question you from a distance. Let them watch as you rise. Because in the end, your success will speak for itself. And the best response to an underminer, living a life so fulfilled, so confident, so deeply aligned with your truth that their words become irrelevant. There are people in your life who refuse to let you grow beyond who you used to be. They see you through the lens of your past mistakes, your old struggles, and the person you were years ago, never acknowledging the evolution, wisdom, and resilience you have gained over time. These are the past reminders, the ones who constantly bring up old wounds, who love to retell stories of your failures, who never seem to recognize your transformation. You know them well. The ones who at every family gathering say, remember when you messed up that job? Or you've always been that way, you never change. They act as if your past is a life sentence, as if your old mistakes or shortcomings are all you will ever be. They refuse to see you as a person who has learned, healed, and moved forward. And the more you grow, the more they cling to outdated narratives of who you once were, as if they need to keep you tethered to a version of yourself that no longer exists. The truth is, some people don't know how to relate to you outside of your past. They are comfortable with the old you, even if that version was broken, insecure, or struggling. They liked the dynamic where they had the upper hand, where they could look at your mistakes and feel better about themselves. But now you have changed. You are no longer the person who tolerated disrespect, who made impulsive choices, who didn't believe in themselves. You have grown stronger, wiser, and more self-assured. And instead of acknowledging your growth, these people cling to their outdated perception of you because it is easier for them to hold on to the past than to accept the reality of who you have become. Their need to remind you of your past is not a reflection of your failures. It is a reflection of their inability to evolve with you.